Welcome back. Tonight we are going to be making a dessert in our Instapot. We are going to be making an old-fashioned pound cake. So we're going to give you a view of how that's going to work when we're going to start putting our ingredients together here. I do have a nice KitchenAid mixer here that I'm going to be using to mix my ingredients all together. So what I'm going to go ahead and do is lower my pan down so I can get my first few ingredients in there that we need to start with. We will be starting with 2 sticks at room temperature of regular salted butter. So we're just going to go ahead and put those in our bowl. And then in with the butter, we're going to put 2 cups of regular ordinary sugar. I'm going to go ahead and pour that in there. And I'm just going to give my hands a quick wipe here. There we go. Then along with the butter and sugar, we're going to use 1 teaspoon of vanilla flavoring. This is just your regular ordinary imitation vanilla. I'm gonna go ahead and put that in there with it. And the last ingredient we're gonna be adding at this time is 1 teaspoon of lemon juice. And I'm just using real lemon 100% juice that you can pick up at any grocery store. I'm gonna go ahead and put that in my teaspoon and add that to our first few ingredients there. Once we get all of those ingredients into the mixture, we're going to go ahead and raise our bowl back up. Whee! Lock it into place, and then I'm going to turn it on to a rather low setting, hopefully, and we just want to cream that a little bit. And just increase it a little bit as it goes, get it a nice cream texture. There we go, that's looking pretty good and creamed there. I'm gonna go ahead and scrape some of this stuff off my, whatever you wanna call that, the mixer part of my mixer here. And pull it all down into the bottom of the bowl. We will be adding more ingredients to that here shortly. So the next thing I'm gonna go ahead and do is move over my dry ingredients and get those mixed for you. In this bowl here is just 3 cups of ordinary all-purpose flour, and I'm just making a little hole there in the middle of it a little bit with my spoon, and I'm going to be adding a few other dry ingredients. What I have in here is 3/4 of a teaspoon of regular table salt, and then a 1/2 teaspoon each of both baking soda and baking powder. So I'm going to go ahead and pour that kind of into my little hole there that I have created and get that all mixed together. Okay, that's probably good enough. Now once we get that mixed together, we're going to go ahead and get that out of the way, and we're going to be adding the next ingredients here to our cream mixture, and we're going to be using 4 regular eggs. Now with the eggs, you do want to add them one at a time to let them mix in a little bit between each one. So we're going to go ahead and crack our first egg. Go ahead and put that in our pot there. Turn it on. Mix for just a few seconds. Get those eggs mixed in. Maybe turn it up just a little bit. There we go. That is looking nice. Okay, we're gonna go ahead and turn that off. We're gonna carefully lower our bowl back down. And once again, I'm going to take my regular spatula here and just kind of scrape the sides of my bowl to get that stuff back down in there where I want it. Now we're going to get to the point where we're going to be mixing in the dry ingredients. While you are mixing in the dry ingredients, there's one final wet ingredient you do want to mix in, and that is 1 cup of buttermilk. So I have here already pre-measured out 1 cup of buttermilk, and I'm going to take turns kind of alternating in, pouring a little bit of the dry ingredient, let it mix, add a little bit of buttermilk, and do that throughout the process until we have all the dry ingredient and the buttermilk into our mixture here. So we're just going to go ahead and raise our bowl back up, lock it into place. Go ahead and pour just a little bit of our dry mixture in there. Try not to make too big of a mess, which is hard when you're me. And we're gonna go ahead and just get this going on a very low speed. And as that's mixing, we're just gonna pour in a little bit of buttermilk. Alright, I'm gonna start putting this in with a spoon to try and make it a little bit easier, as I was struggling a little bit to pour it in there. We're gonna put a little bit more of that in there. Finish off our buttermilk here. So we now have our cup of buttermilk in there. And just a little tiny bit more of the dry ingredient here. There we go. Looking nice and mixed, so we're gonna go ahead and take a quick break here, and I'll get out the pan that we need to put our batter in and our Instapot, and we'll come right back at you. Alright, we have cleaned up everything we needed to make the batter for the pound cake, so we're going to be moving on to the next steps now. I have here, this is a 6-inch spring form pan. These are very typical for making cheesecakes. You can make this particular recipe that I'm using either in a 6 or 7-inch spring form pan, but I have a 6-inch here. And I have some non-stick cooking spray. I'm going to go ahead and give my pan a spray with that. Now, once you start putting your batter into your spring form pan, you only want to go about halfway, because the dough is going to rise for your cake inside your Instapot. So you don't want it to be too full. So you can actually get 2 6-inch pound cakes out of this batter mixture. Just a little bit more. That might be just slightly under half. Let's just do one more swipe here. Let's just a trick of the eye, guys. Eyeball it, see what you think. Because unfortunately, once you make the batter, it's kind of hard to measure it perfectly. All right, so then we're gonna go ahead and smooth it out a little bit if my spatula wants to cooperate here in my arm itself here. All right, that's good. And then we're gonna go ahead, wipe off our spatula a little bit and scrape what we have here. Okay, perfect. Okay, once you have your batter in your springform pan, you do want to cover that with some tin foil. Very important step that you do not want to forget. So I have some tin foil here, and I'm gonna go ahead and wrap it tightly and completely around my springform pan. Then we are going to take 2 cups of regular tap water. I have measured out here in my glass measuring cup. I'm gonna go ahead and pour that into the bottom of my Instapot. Once that's in there, I'm gonna put my trivet in there with the water. And then your springform pan is gonna sit right in there on top of your trivet. Once you get that all set up, you do want to go ahead and get your Instapot closed up here. We're gonna go ahead and get our lid on. All right. Woo. Once you have the lid on, you wanna make sure it's in your sealing position. So I'm gonna go ahead and move my knob here to the middle to my sealing. Come on over here. We do wanna use the manual setting on our Instapot. So we're gonna go ahead and hit manual. This does need to cook for 90 minutes on manual, folks. So once you get it up there to 90 minutes, just go ahead and let it go. It will start to heat up, and there we go. Now it's gonna start to build the pressure, and once that happens, the cake will start to cook. And after 90 minutes, we'll take a look at it. All right, our 90 minutes has ended. As you can hear, the time is up. And now what we're gonna do is we're gonna let it do a natural release for 15 minutes. This number here will start to count up to 15. And once it does do that, then we will come back and release the rest of the pressure for you. We're at 14 minutes here on our pressure cooker as far as the natural release. We should be hitting 15 minutes here anytime, hopefully. And then once that happens, we'll go ahead and do a quick release of the rest of the pressure for you. There we go. We're at 15 minutes. We're going to go ahead and flip our switch over here. Let the rest of the pressure go ahead and release from it there for us. All right, it sounds like it is done. So we're gonna go ahead and remove our lid. Set that over here out of the way. And we are going to carefully remove our pan. I have 2 sets of tongs here that I'm going to try and use to remove the pan from the Instapot here. Hopefully this is going to work. I have a different idea. I was struggling with that, so we're going to try something a little different, see if we can do it this way. If I am able to lift this up a little bit with a tong and get under it with a spatula. There we go. That worked. We're going to go ahead and set it right there. We're going to go ahead and remove the foil from our cake. It's nice and soft and spongy. We're gonna go ahead and let that sit for about 10 minutes there and cool down a little bit before we try and remove it from our pan. And Once we're ready to do all that, we will come back and take a look at what the finished product looks like. Okay, our cake has cooled for a little while. We're gonna go ahead and dump it out of its springform pan here. I have a cute little kid's Christmas plate here with a gingerbread man on it. Now, my cake is gonna come out very easily. There is a chance that it may not come out that easily for you if you don't get enough cooking spray or get it greased well enough. It has a beautiful golden side there. You also may want to cut it flat before you take it out. If you want your cake to lay flat, you can always use a knife and do that. Also, if it does stick to your pan, you can always try and loosen it around the edges with a knife to see if it comes loose there for you. And what I have here, this is actually a cheese shaker. People use it for like Parmesan cheese and such like that. I do have some powdered sugar in here. And what I'm going to just go ahead and do is sprinkle a very light layer of powdered sugar across the top to make it look kind of festive. And once we do finish our dinner, we're going to go ahead and get it sliced up and give it a try. Okay, we have successfully finished devouring our delicious dinner. So we're gonna go ahead and slice our cake up here and have ourselves a little piece. We'll go ahead and have a look at that. It's very pretty colored, nice dark outside crust, light color inside. It does feel a little heavy, but it's a pound cake, so it's supposed to be.
And then feel like a pound?
Yeah. Then what we're gonna go ahead and do is we're gonna, oh shoot, I probably should have done this beforehand. Gonna open up our whipped cream, give it a little shake. Top it with a little bit of whipped cream here. Perfect. And then we have some sliced fresh strawberries with some sugar on it. Go ahead and dish some of that up there. And we're gonna go ahead and try a bite and give this a try. Just a second here. Let's see. We gotta get some cake and some whipped cream. Actually, let's just do the cake first. It's still a little warm. It's got really good flavor, and it definitely tastes like a pound cake. Let's go ahead and try a bite all together. I did good. Happy holidays, and thanks for watching. Merry Christmas.